Everyone talks about why families should move to Sacramento, but today, let's flip it. Today, let's talk about some of the reasons that you might regret it. And even more importantly, which of these matter to you and your day-to-day life. None of these are universal deal breakers, but I do see families regret when one of these clashes with how they actually live life versus what they imagined the life that they would live. Hi, I am Amanda Freeman, a mom of two and Sacramento-area Realtor who is here to help you and your family decide if the Sacramento region is where you're meant to be. If you're trying to figure out whether Sacramento fits the way that your family lives, then subscribe and hit the bell. I'm here to share the honest, real life of living here. My goal for you is clarity, not pressure. Reason number one, the summer heat and the flip side that not everyone remembers. Summer heat in Sacramento is not just hot. It is a hotness that makes you change your routines. If you live in Sacramento, you are either going to ensure that from June to maybe September or October, you are getting your errands done in the mornings or the evenings. You are doing all of your outside activities during the mornings and the evenings, or you are focused around water, whether that is a community pool or one of the many rivers that surround Sacramento's region. Now, my family, we do a mix of both. We are a member of a community pool in our neighborhood, and you will find us there almost every afternoon, going between dipping in the water. My kids will not get out of the water in the summertime. Our specific community pool, side note, will on the 45-minute mark, once every hour, they will pull all of the kids out of the pool for adult swim. And it's fantastic because they get 15 minutes to just heat up again, chill out, and if someone over the age of 18 does want to take a dip, they don't have to worry about all of the kids splashing in the pool. It is a win-win. The other way that my family utilizes the summer days is by utilizing the American River Parkway. We have so many access points with river access. Now, if you get a parkway pass, it's about $70 for a year, or you can pay for parking every time that you go, but it's $7 every time that you go for parking. So honestly, even just if you use the park pass during the summertime and no other time, it will be very easy to get your money's worth out of the Parkway Pass. So you get the Parkway Pass, you get access to all of the different river access points, and that's the other place that you'll find me and my family on the weekends or in the mornings before the pool opens. We will find our favorite access points and we will be there in the morning, cooling down before the heat of the day. The nice thing about Sacramento is we do get that Delta breeze, so it comes up from the Bay Area through the Delta in the evenings. And so, for example, my family, our home has a whole house fan. So when the sun sets and that Delta breeze starts to come through from the bay, and it's just like that foggy, almost, it's not really like a salty smell, but it does feel a little marine layery, and it'll come through the Sacramento Valley, and you'll turn on the house fan and suck that cool air into your house and into your attic and get that hot air from the day out. That Delta breeze usually goes up to, if you're going west to east, it's about Folsom-ish area. I hear once you get to the foothills, then it kind of dies off. And then north and south, like Chico, for example, it's gonna be hot and sticky throughout the night. I went to college in Chico, and there was no Delta breeze to save us in those summer nights. It was hot, hot, hot. All that to say, in Sacramento, you will get reprieve in the evenings when that Delta breeze comes through. And if we get multiple days in a row, usually when we're hitting triple digits for 2 weeks straight, that means that the Delta breeze didn't come through. And it's just very sticky and stale. And it's just so amazing when the Delta breeze decides to come back and just wash away all of the heat of the day. So for some families, this works really well. You just schedule your day around water access, shade, maybe doing things in the early morning or later in the evening when the Delta breeze comes through. But if you're someone who likes spontaneous adventures or you need to be outside for your mental health, it's just something to keep in mind that the summertime afternoons from, again, about June to September, October, it's gonna be tough. It can be really tough. It's a heat that people know about, but I need you to understand that this heat is pretty bad in the Sacramento area. The flip side that not a lot of people talk about, and it doesn't happen every year, but it happened big in 2025, and so it's fresh on my mind and I wanna make sure that you guys are aware of it, is in the winter time, there are times that the Tule fog comes through. Now, maybe you've heard of the Tule fog. It was big on the news because pretty much all of Central California for about 6 weeks in November, December of 2025 was covered in this dense fog. 6 weeks straight, we did not see the sun. It was bone chilling cold. Like it didn't matter how many layers you got on, you could feel it in your bones. And the fog is thick. Visibility can be affected, and depending on your commute, it can be kind of scary to go through some of that Tule fog. A lot of people did not expect, because it hasn't happened for that extended period of time in so long, a lot of people were taken aback by how much their moods were affected by that Tule fog being on the area for 6 weeks straight. There were times that my family would drive up into the foothills just to come up over the fog, because it's really low laying. It's just this really low layer of fog. So you can go up into the foothills, up into El Dorado Hills, sometimes even only had to go up to Folsom, and you come up over the fog and you see the sun, and it's just very jolting to understand and to realize how much you missed the sun. So if you are someone who is really, if your mood is really affected by the weather, whether that's the heat or you need access to the sun and the gloominess is something that will affect your mood, it's just something to be aware of if you're considering a move to the Sacramento area. Reason number 2, some people might regret moving to Sacramento. It's the commute trade-off that surprises a lot of newcomers. Sacramento isn't tiny, but it's not just about traffic like you would expect in LA or the Bay Area. It's more about geography. Sacramento has multiple rivers that cut through it, and not very many access points to get across those rivers. For example, the American River. Now, this is what separates, it goes through Sacramento, so it separates Sacramento from north to south, and it also separates Sacramento from Fair Oaks, Sacramento from Orangevale, Sacramento from parts of Folsom, and also Roseville. There are about 4 or 5 ways to get across the American River. You've got Hazel Avenue, you have Sunrise Avenue, you have Watt Avenue, you have Business 80. These are like the very select few ways that you can get across the river. So when it's time to commute, these arteries can get really congested. So if you are commuting from Fair Oaks to Rancho Cordova, or from the Sierra Oaks area to Elk Grove or South Sacramento, these river access points create bottlenecks. And those bottlenecks add up fast. When you're looking at a map, considering which areas or which neighborhoods you might want to live in, the commutes and the traffic might look manageable, but in real life, it can add 20, 30, 40 minutes to your commute each way. I really encourage, if you're considering different areas and you know that you might have to cross any of the rivers, to look at traffic patterns multiple times a day. When will you possibly be commuting from a job to your home, or different neighborhoods, different parts of the city, maybe for school commute? Just check traffic patterns and get a good sense of what the traffic actually is from point A to point B. So if you're a Bay Area transplant, I mean, maybe this is a little bit of a relief. Maybe it feels like the traffic is a breeze compared to where you're coming from. But if you're coming from another mid-sized city, this might be a little bit of a jolt that you weren't expecting, because on paper, it looks like it's going to be manageable, that you're gonna be fine. And then when you get here and you're sitting, not to mention Highway 50 traffic right now. It's almost done. It's almost done. By the time that you're watching this, hopefully Highway 50 has completed the transformation that's taken multiple years, and that's no longer an issue. But all that to say, if you're coming from another mid-sized city, this might be a little bit of a shock to your system. Just something to think about. So this is just something to keep in the back of your mind while you are house hunting and considering different neighborhoods and different areas, because what I don't want you to do is fall in love with a house in one area and then hate your commute to work every day because you didn't realize what was going to happen. The third reason that some people may regret moving to Sacramento is that the region is spread out and community is very neighborhood specific. I don't remember where I read this, but I believe that Sacramento is one of the most diverse cities in the United States, coming in maybe behind San Francisco and New York City as being the third most diverse city in the whole United States. We have so much culture here, there is so much to offer, but what that means is that different parts of Sacramento are incredibly different. Some areas feel incredibly urban, very walkable, dense, fast-paced. I'm talking midtown, downtown area, but a majority of the neighborhoods feel more suburban. You have driveways, you're scheduling meetups. It's very much more intentional with your interactions with your neighbors and your community. Don't get me wrong, community exists and there is a lot of it here in Sacramento, but it doesn't happen by chance. You have to be focused on finding it. Places you might find it: schools, sports, routines. If you have an interest, I promise you there is a group of people that have a similar interest that you can dive into and be a part of. But it's not just going to happen. I have a friend who is very extroverted. I am very introverted. I call her my emotional support extrovert. And if I have anything that I want to do to get out of my comfort zone or to be a part of community and I don't know other people there, I am inviting her to be my extrovert by my side when we do the activity. So if you're an extrovert and you can get into that community and you can find it, then fantastic. If you are not, then we gotta find you your emotional support extrovert who will help you get more plugged into the community. And I am here to help you find things that you might be more connected with and find the people that you want to connect with in Sacramento. If you come into Sacramento thinking that it's going to be walkable everything, then there are a lot of areas that are going to disappoint you. But as long as you're okay with suburban rhythms, the area often feels very calm and livable. It's less about Sacramento as a whole and really more focused on finding the area and community that is the best fit for you. And I'm here as your Sacramento expert agent to help you find that neighborhood and that community that is the perfect fit for you and your family. All right, we are halfway through this. Reason number 4 that some people may regret moving to Sacramento. It's sticker shock and why some expectations might miss the mark. So you may have heard that Sacramento is affordable. And that is true, but you have to think, what is it affordable compared to? Absolutely, Sacramento is more affordable than coastal or Southern California. But no, it is not as inexpensive as other states if you're coming from across the country. So I don't want you to get caught off guard by the full price of things. We need to think big picture here. You have the purchase price of your house plus property taxes, insurance, depending on the area, that's gonna include fire insurance, utilities. If you're lucky and live in Sacramento County, then you get SMUD for electricity, which is a hell of a lot cheaper than PG&E. And also, a lot of the homes in the Sacramento region are on the older side, so you are going to have maintenance costs and upkeep costs for your older home. Now, none of these are extreme on their own, but it's just something to think about, bigger picture, when you're considering a move. I want you to be comfortable with your month-to-month living expenses. So the regret isn't necessarily about the purchase price of your home, but it's about stretching your budget from month to month once you're here. I think it's less that people regret buying in Sacramento and more that they were unprepared of the ongoing costs of living here from month to month. On to reason number 5 that people may regret moving to the Sacramento area. That would be public transportation and family logistics. For the most part, family life here is car-based. That's just the reality. We do have public transportation, but it's not as robust as other big cities, and it's not as robust as many of us would like it to be. We do have light rail, which will take you from Folsom to Sacramento and has many stops in between. It does not take you to the airport. It is something that drives locals crazy. Why do we not have light rail to go from downtown Sacramento to the airport? Don't get me started. Okay, living in Sacramento is very car-based, especially if you are a parent juggling kids, sports, multiple family schedules, extracurricular activities. It's just gonna be hard to live here without a car. Most families are gonna need more than one car, although you and your family situation might be different. For some families, it's really a non-issue. They already have one or multiple cars when they move here, and it's just streamlined. But if you are coming from a major metro where you're used to not having a car and being able to rely on public transportation, that is not going to be your experience in Sacramento. Knowing this upfront may help you with choosing a neighborhood or figuring out your routines more intentionally. On to reason number 6. The outdoors are amazing, but the allergies are real. And this is not imagined. Tree pollen, grass pollen, and sometimes, a lot of times, wildfire smoke. It is seasonal, not constant, and most families can manage it. But if you're not used to seasonal allergies, I don't want it to be a surprise to you. Now, some ways that locals combat it: local honey, daily allergy meds, and even air purifiers during peak season, especially with the wildfires. It's definitely manageable, but something that you should be aware of before moving. And now, onto our final reason that some families may regret moving to the Sacramento area. Neighborhood fit matters more than most people realize. Sacramento is a collection of micro lifestyles, different pace, different vibe, different daily rhythms. It's actually something that makes Sacramento really unique and special, but it is very important that you are not picking a house in a neighborhood on price alone or commute alone. I truly believe that it's not that people hate Sacramento, but more of them hating or feeling out of sync with where they've landed. This is why it's really important to know your routines and what kind of lifestyle you're looking for, and not just looking at homes based on bedrooms. This is why it's really important to understand on a macro level what is important to you. What are your routines? What kind of community are you looking for? We're not searching for a home just based on bedrooms, but we have to take everything into consideration. Now look, none of these are deal breakers on their own, but they can be deal breakers if people make decisions based on headlines versus how they actually live. If you want help figuring out if Sacramento makes sense for your family, or need help finding a neighborhood that fits your routines, your pace, and your long-term plans, that is where I come in. My job is to ask the questions that most people skip so that you can make a decision you feel grounded in and not regret from. Even if you are 6 or 12 months out from a move, having these conversations now are how we prevent regret later. Use the link below to book a pressure-free call. We will talk through your budget, your timeline, your concerns, and ultimately, whether Sacramento really fits your family's needs. Look forward to chatting with you.